Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Mindful Music Reviews. So today I'm going to be listening to a song that I'm already familiar with and a band that I've really fallen in love with over the past year. Discovered this group during the 2020 pandemic lockdown, actually. And it was just a random thing that I found on I think it was a Spotify playlist, progressive rock or something like that. And I heard their song Springfield, which is from this same album, The Optimist. And it was just, there was something about it that was just really unique and just had a resonance. These guys are, well, I'll save my thoughts about this particular song and the group in general for after we listen to the song. But with that little intro, just invite you to find a comfortable place to sit or lay down, or if you want to go for a mindful stroll or whatever you want to do. The whole point here is simply to reconnect with our internal landscape and use the breath as an anchor for keeping our attention in the present moment. So once you've grabbed some headphones, found a comfortable place to sit down or lay down or whatever you're doing, let's just go ahead and get started by taking a few deep breaths together. Not forcing, not contriving anything, just tapping into your natural patterns, just noticing your natural patterns. Noticing that turnaround from when an inhale turns into an exhale. Resting in that gap of space between an exhale and an inhale. And this is the practice, simply attending to our breath, attending to our subconscious activities that keep us conscious. And since this is a music video that I've never seen before, I'm actually going to watch it. So if you want to keep your eyes closed, if you want to watch this with me, feel free. And let's just go ahead and melt into this music together.
You
beautiful tail on that last piano chord for that ending. It's really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to still stay as present and mindful as possible as I give my dissection of that was a silly way to put it. I'm not dissecting the music. I'm just giving my impressions and how it affected me. So that song was actually not super representative of Anathema's usual style, although I can't really say they have a usual style. They have sort of a a lifeblood that runs through their music, and that was certainly present through this song. They actually started out as a like gothic doom metal band in the 90s, and I'm only familiar with their albums from 2010 onward. So this is actually their most recent album from 2017. Fantastic album called The Optimist. Their album from 2010 was We're Here Because We're Here, and that was the first album that I heard of theirs, the first one that I really listened to as an album and really fell in love with. It's fantastic. But what I was going to say about it not being that much of a representative of their sound is Lee Douglas, the female vocalist in this band and then featured in this song. She's not the only singer. So their main composer, Danny, he also sings, and his brother, Vincent, is the lead vocalist. So Vincent and Lee Douglas, they share lead vocals quite a bit. I honestly feel that her voice is what takes the band to the next level. I would still listen to them if she wasn't a part of it, but I don't know that it would strike me in just the same way. I'm finding that most of the songs that I love the most are either she's a lead or is singing it, because there are some songs where there's none of Lee's vocals in there at all. So this just happened to be one where there was no male vocal representation. On that note, really enjoyed the power of how her vocal was produced. I was watching the music video, so I don't think I'm going to do that again in the future. It was a little distracting. I still felt pretty present, but I felt that I was just sort of caught up in the visuals and not losing myself to the music in the way that I really kind of intend to do in this series. So I'm just going to play a short snippet of it again. Well, first off, that was a perfect spot to hop into because I wanted to mention that too, how perfect those lyrics are for this series on the channel specifically. Slow down, just really that energy of, again, just melting into the moment, sinking into presence, and letting the music wash over us as we listen. I wanted to listen back to it again because I didn't really take note of whether or not I felt that her vocal was double tracked, meaning literally just recorded twice. A lot of times, a lot of popular music, the lead vocal and guitars and things like that, you might not think that you're hearing two tracks of the same part, but a lot of times they are recorded twice. Not just duplicated, but recorded twice, because you're going to get different characteristics come through in a fresh performance rather than just duplicating the exact same signal. That's just going to make it louder. It's not going to give you that thickness that a double track will give you. This, I'm not sure. I mean, it's definitely thick, but it is sort of in the center. It's a mono sort of lead vocal. It's not like you hear it, wall of sound sort of approach where basically it would be on both sides, your left and right speakers, having the vocals like that. Yeah, the ambience of it is really my main impression. Just the way her voice is soaring, and the ambience and the reverb, and I don't know if there's a little bit of delay on her voice or not. The tone on the snare drum caught my attention too, for that same reason, because of the ambience. There's just something about each hit that just felt like it sort of exploded into a very, very tasteful, pleasing reverb. And I just love Lee's vocals so much. I love her voice, and I felt this was a powerful performance. I really enjoyed the intro, where she was just giving the little oohs and ahs before the verse really set in. But in particular, I really enjoyed what the piano was doing right before we got into the verse. Let's check that out. Okay, even before I get to what I was going to say about the piano, I just want to point out, when I was on topic of vocal ambience, just let me roll that back again. Just listen to the way her voice just soars above. Like, after, she's holding the note out, but after she decays the sustain, you still hear that. And there was this one in particular. Let's just take a look and take a listen. Yeah, right there. Let me roll it back a little bit further so we can catch it. I just love that sigh. And it almost feels like the reverb was catching like just that, like, not sibilance, but the higher frequencies, higher aspect, higher pitch of what she was doing. And I just love that. It has that motion of like going forward and then up, like almost like you're in a cathedral and you're projecting outwards, going out into the room and then up the walls, right? But anyway, back to my original point. I just love that little turnaround. Just, we had a whole minute here of an intro, and you got the cymbals just kind of building it up, sort of pianos just kind of mid-range chords, but then to turn it around into the verse, you have those long draws on the strings, and the piano just plays that lower part, and there's just something about that really struck me. Let's listen to it one more time. And then her vocals are just like clouds of warmth, and I can hear now in this verse, I can hear that there are distinct double tracks. I'm hearing it in a little bit of different places, like sort of right of center, left of center. So very cool. Let's see what else I could say about this. I enjoyed the production of this one's quite a bit different from some of their other tunes. Not that matters for you guys at all, right? But it has more of an electronic, sort of like electro rock sort of feel. So there's a lot of synth work happening. I'm not sure where I could point this out. I could just pick a random spot, but there was a sort of, I don't know if it was a sub bass, if that's the right term to use, but there was some sort of like bass line that's sort of like this pulsing, like whoop, 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 whoop. Let me see if I can try to find it. I just enjoyed that. I thought that was a cool element to throw in there. Yeah, you can hear it right here. It's not very prominent. I mean, it's not very present in your face. It's definitely a lower element. And, you know, that's really what a brilliant mix does, is it knows how to play with contrast. And, you know, it's not just about leveling everything out so that you can hear everything perfectly clear. It's about creating that contrast. You know, the reason why her voice is so engulfing me is because it's so much more present, so much louder than everything else. So this bass, if you tune in here, you can feel it and hear it pulsing in different notes. Sorry, I just had to let that play for a little bit. Just starting to get lost in it. And I wanted you to be able to hear that snare again after I mentioned that. You know, you just feel that echo. You know, that it's not an echo, but it's reverb. It really sounds like they're in like a cathedral or something like that. And everything just has so much space. You know, nothing's clouding each other. And the string arrangement. I mean, geez, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm not that well versed in how to arrange for strings, but I love it. Just so much just beautiful movement, and yeah, this is just really great track. Yeah, well, shoot, I'm just gonna listen to the rest of the song. I don't know that I have much else to say about it. The music video is pretty cool too. At first I was like, okay, I guess it's just gonna be this dude flow dancing for the whole video, but then you get some different elements in here, but kind of cool. Anyway, I'm just gonna listen to the rest of the song. Speaking of, you know, subtleties in the mix, I was talking about the bass in that way, and I call this an electro rock track. I don't know why, because there's really not a whole lot of guitar in it, but you can hear right now there's real subtle, subdued, just a little electric guitar. It almost sounds like a synth mallet type of thing, almost like a, I don't know, like a vibraphone or something like that, but electronic. Anyway, just cool. Beautiful. Yeah, I think this track was very appropriately named, called Ghosts. Definitely has that just sort of wispy. I don't know, it's just so flowy. I love it. I have not listened to this song as deeply since the first time I listened to this album. Actually, I had a pretty intense listen. The first listen of this album, I was in a good headspace and just was doing a little bit of yoga, stuff like that, and just really like let it take me somewhere. And I haven't listened to this particular song by itself outside of the context of the album at all. So it's cool to isolate it and just see this frame of this one song. And yeah, it's quite different from a lot of their songs, but I love the way that it doesn't feel like any particular section is like hugely climactic. It's all like the energy rises for sure, but it almost feels like the whole song is a build up, and yet in no way is it anticlimactic. Yeah, just brilliant track, awesome band. Out of things to say about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this listen through with me. And if you're not familiar with Anathema, highly recommend perusing through their catalog. The album We're Here Because We're Here is great. This one, The Optimist, my personal favorite, is called Weather Systems. I'm definitely going to be reviewing a couple songs from that album. So anyway, till next time, keep breathing deep.